Ladies and gentlemen, Indian mobility is evolving, and as the landscape evolves, a new generation of buyers are redefining expectations. Today's generation demands more style, more technology, more versatility, and complete confidence. To share the vision that brings us here, please welcome the Managing Director and CEO of Tata Motors Passenger Vehicles, Mr. Shailesh Chandra.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to our friends from the media, our partners, our customers, and everyone joining us today. At Tata Motors, the last few years have been about challenging conventions across categories. We redefined what safety could mean in India, expanded EV mobility across segments, and brought premiumness into spaces where customers expected to compromise. And through this journey, one thing became increasingly clear to us. While the Indian passenger vehicle market has evolved rapidly, one of its most important segments has gradually lost something critical. The hatchback segment has lost its emotional relevance. Many people may ask us today, why are we so deeply committed to the hatchback segment at a time when SUVs dominate headlines? It's because millions of Indian families still begin their mobility journey here. Mid and entry hatchbacks are the first cars for a lot of young professionals, the first upgrades for growing families, the backbone of Tier 2 and Tier 3 India, and the most democratized form of personal mobility in the country. As such, this segment is known for practicality, ease of driving, and price accessibility, all of which are deeply relevant to Indian customers. However, over time, this gateway segment stopped evolving. Customers were seeing bold design, premium interiors, connected technology, and aspirational experiences in SUVs and higher segments, while entry and mid hatchbacks slowly became functional, basic, and dated. Moreover, the number of options in the rupees 5 lakh space steadily reduced, with effectively only two major players remaining today. That in itself tells us something important. Customers in this segment have remained underserved for far long. And these gaps have gradually pushed customers away from the segment itself. Not because the customers stopped needing hatchbacks, but because the segment stopped giving them something to aspire towards. In many ways, the industry moved away from the hatchbacks, but the customers did not. So as Tata Motors PV, we asked ourselves a very simple question. Why should modernity be reserved only for expensive cars? Why should premium experiences, advanced safety, connected technology, and pride of ownership belong only to higher segments? We believed this segment deserves better because democratization has always been at the heart of Tata Motors. The democratization of safety, the democratization of technology, and now the democratization of modern experiences. 10 years ago, we launched the Tiago with exactly this philosophy. It challenged the idea that affordability should mean compromise. Over the last decade, it has consistently redefined what India could expect from an accessible car. It has led with many segment firsts, including 4-star GN cap safety and innovations like twin-cylinder CNG and CNG AMT. And customers across India embrace this philosophy. Today, Tiago stands at an extraordinary milestone of 7 lakh happy customers. This is a testament of a brand that was never designed to feel basic. It has always been designed to feel expressive, vibrant, modern, and aspirational. And over the last few years, customers' expectations have evolved even further. Today, hatchback customer wants far more than mobility. They want stronger design with presence, technology usually associated with higher segments, confidence and safety without compromise, and above all, pride of ownership. They want a car they feel excited to arrive in, a car they want to flaunt, and a car that reflects who they are. So while the customer has evolved continuously, the category has not until now. So today, we are proud to introduce the next-gen Tiago. This is more than just a facelift. It is our way of completely reimagining what a mid-hatchback can feel like. The next generation Tiago refuses to feel ordinary and brings back something this category has been missing for far too long. It brings a true sense of excitement and aspiration that makes you go, wow. Wow through surprise, wow through delight, and wow because this is far more than customers ever expected from this segment. We wanted the next-gen Tiago to feel more substantial, wider, taller, more planted, and confident on the road, with a design language that immediately feels sharper, bolder, and more expressive. Every surface, proportion, and detail has been evolved to create stronger road presence and a far more premium visual character. And for many customers, this may be their first car. And a first car should make you feel proud every single time you walk towards it. At the heart of the next-gen Tiago is the democratization of premium experiences. Customers should not have to move to a much bigger or more expensive car just to experience modern technology and connected convenience. Which is why the next-gen Tiago brings a far richer and more intuitive in-cabin experience into this segment with advanced connected technologies, immersive digital interfaces, and convenience-driven features. Some examples include the 360-degree surround view system and wireless smartphone charger, which are features that customers usually associate with higher categories. This is technology that feels effortless, intuitive, and deeply aligned to modern urban lifestyles. It is important to note that India has a diverse set of customers, and mobility in India cannot follow one formula. This is why Tiago continues to offer one of the widest powertrain choices in the segment. It is the only model in the segment to offer 3 distinct powertrain options: petrol, CNG, and EV, catering to different customer needs, lifestyles, and usage patterns. For customers looking for an accessible, practical, and dependable everyday driving experience, the petrol range continues to deliver a strong all-round proposition. At the same time, CNG has emerged as one of the fastest growing choices in the market, driven by customers seeking higher running efficiency without compromising on comfort or aspiration. Building on innovations like twin-cylinder technology, AMT in CNG, and a much richer feature experience, the next-gen Tiago makes CNG ownership more aspirational, more convenient, and more desirable than ever before. And finally, for customers ready to embrace the future of mobility, the Tiago EV continues to make electric mobility more accessible, something we will talk about in greater detail shortly. Hence, there is truly a Tiago for everyone. And of course, if there is one thing we refuse to compromise on, it is safety. Because safety should never become the privilege of premium segments. Every single day, hatchbacks are part of life's most important journeys. The first drive to work, school drop-offs, late night drives back home, weekend family outings, and countless everyday moments in between. For many Indian families, this is the car they place their trust in the most because it carries the people who matter the most. That is why the next-gen Tiago has been engineered to strengthen customer confidence even further. It has a far more comprehensive safety package designed around everyday protection, stability, awareness, and peace of mind for Indian families. And now, let's see a video that demonstrates how the car protects you in real-world scenarios.
For millions of Indians, a hatchback is never just a car. The first car a growing family trusts. And today, first-time car buyers are more evolved than ever before. But above all, they expect to feel protected because safety cannot be rationed by the segment. It has to be engineered completely. Because these cars don't just carry passengers, they carry families. And roads are unpredictable. Narrow roads, missing dividers, fast-moving trucks, pedestrians appearing without warning. On our roads, danger rarely announces itself. So today, for the very first time in India, we are putting a hatchback through something far more extreme. And not just any hatchback. A Tiago CNG. Engineered with twin-cylinder technology. Engineered for the realities of everyday. The challenge begins with one of the most unforgiving real-world crash scenarios. A direct frontal impact into a rigid pole. The kind that can happen on roads. Against a lamppost, a tree, or a divider standing exactly where you never expected it. But sometimes, real accidents do not end with the first crash. Sometimes the first impact throws the vehicle into another danger entirely. Another lane, another vehicle, another collision. Because one impact can quickly become two. So we push the Tiago further. The same car now faces a second high-severity side impact. Two severe crashes. On the same Tiago CNG. And yet, the promise remains intact. Because true safety is not about surviving ideal conditions. It is about protecting families in the unpredictable realities. This is engineering with responsibility. The next-gen Tiago, built for India's roads. Built for India's families.
So the video you just witnessed demonstrates the next-gen Tiago's capability in a demanding double impact collision scenario, a powerful reflection of the protection philosophy behind the car. And equally importantly, it also showcases the strength and robustness of the Tiago in its CNG avatar, further reinforcing confidence in safety for CNG mobility. Overall, when you step back and look at the next-gen Tiago in its entirety, you realize this is far more than an upgrade. It is the return of aspiration to one of India's most important categories. It is a hatchback that is expressive, technology-led, safe, smart, and proudly modern. Because the feeling of wow should never belong only to expensive cars. And behind this transformation lies significant engineering and product development work. And to take you through how the next-gen Tiago has been engineered for modern India, I would now like to invite Anil to the stage.
Thank you, Shailesh. Good morning, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to take you through the engineering behind the development of next-gen Tiago, crafted to deliver an wow experience. For many of us, the hatchback carries memories of our very first car, the excitement, the pride, and joy of owning something truly liberating. But for decades, hatchback customers were also told something else. It's a small car, you will have to adjust. Over time, many constraints were actually accepted as inherent to this segment. So we asked ourselves a fundamental question. What if the architecture itself refused to compromise? That thinking became the foundation of the development effort for the new Gen Tiago. No compromise on driving confidence, safety, driving ease, and comfort. And no compromise on tech and features. At the core of new Gen Tiago is the X-Alpha architecture, engineered to deliver a truly uncompromised experience. Built on 4 integrated pillars, a robust mechanical foundation, multi-powertrain integration, a comfort-centric cabin, and an all-new electrical architecture. Every element of the architecture is crafted to deliver strong everyday capability, tech features, and uncompromising safety. Our first focus area has been safety, engineered beyond compliance. Body structure is engineered to have multiple crash load paths, crumple zones, and highly fortified passenger compartment with extensive use of high-strength steels. 6 airbags come as standard fitment across all variants. Together, these deliver superior occupant protection in severe crash conditions. We'll share more details on safety later in the presentation. The second focus area was delivering strong everyday capability with SUV-like confidence. Body structures has SUV-like torsional stiffness of 15.6 kN/meter per degree, and segment-leading ground clearance geometry critical to handle all kinds of roads with confidence. New Gen Tiago uses a dual-path struts with multi-tuning valve that helps us achieve good ride and exceptional handling at high speeds without any trade-off. High chair height of 626 millimeters is segment best and helps achieve command seating position. With clear frontal view, this also enhances ease of ingress and egress. High forward downward visibility of nearly 7.5 degrees ensures we get clear bonnet view for confidence in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Steering system is optimized to provide low average effort for low speed as well as parking maneuvers. EPA system is tuned for highest returnability critical during sharp turns. Together, they offer SUV-like confidence with segment-best driving ease. LED lamps on our Tiago provide segment-best illumination of 299 lux. Low beam is optimized for uniform light distribution with again segment-best average illumination of 185 lux to ensure all-round visibility. High beam is optimized to seamlessly extend the visibility beyond the low beam and provide segment-best range of 80 meters. This helps drivers see farther and react earlier during night driving. Customer needs and preferences are varying and are best served by different powertrains, so each with its own unique strengths. X-alpha architecture is optimized to ensure we offer petrol, CNG, and EV options within the same footprint of an hatchback, and this required us to engineer the underbody to accommodate different engines, motors, and fuel systems. Efficient integration has been achieved through extensive digital simulations, subassembly level modularity, and utilization of existing proven manufacturing systems. Tiago introduced the first in India CNG AMT. The iCNG AMT combines performance with everyday convenience. It delivers smoother gear shifts and best-in-class performance with effortless drivability and easy creep in traffic. It is enabled for direct start in CNG mode, maximizing the savings. First in India, twin-cylinder technology results in usable boot space. Traditionally, hatchbacks have been designed mainly focused on the driver. But with the X-alpha architecture, we adopted a more human-centric approach by engineering comfort for every occupant. Generous leg, shoulder, hip, and elbow room ensures comfortable seating for the whole family. Seats have been re-engineered, drawing heavily from our alpha architecture with extended thigh support and comfort contours. Occupant focus features like passenger-facing front air vents, rear AC vents, as well as FATC create a comfortable cabin experience for the whole family. The new electrical architecture draws heavily from alpha architecture and is powered by a next generation processor platform that has 2.3x higher computing power, 1.4x higher graphics processing power, and a 4th generation leap in operating system. This new electrical architecture enables multiple features that are typically found in one segment above cars. We also integrated wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. These significant enhancements in processing power, graphics rendering, and software capability have enabled the integration of advanced premium technologies such as the 360-degree surround view camera and blind view monitoring, which are typically found in much higher segment cars. This new architecture includes integrated telematics capability for faster communication, real-time data handling, and seamless cloud connectivity. These enhancements have enabled IRA technologies such as smart vehicle insights for efficiency and performance, remote access, control, and security functions, live tracking, safety alerts, and emergency assistance. Personalized profiles, greetings, and even connected rewards. With a total of 37 connected features, the new Gen Tiago sets a new benchmark for connected mobility in this segment. New Gen Tiago introduces an industry-first innovation in the segment with Bluetooth functionality integrated directly into the instrument cluster. In some variants, without the infotainment system, the smart cluster supports hands-free calling, music streaming, and message notifications from the user's phone using an inbuilt Bluetooth device, integrated speakers, and microphone functionality. Along with the steering-mounted controls, the system provides a seamless and distraction-free user experience similar to an infotainment system. This is again an industry first. X-alpha architecture also enables multiple smart automation technologies such as paddle shifters in AMT versions, cruise control, auto headlamps, and rain sensing wipers for uncompromised driving command. At Tata Motors, safety has always been a priority. X-alpha is engineered beyond compliance. Our engineering teams have developed deep knowledge of real road accidents and continuously strive on enhancing our products to deliver safer protection critical for families who trust Tiago as their everyday car. You all saw the crash performance of new Gen Tiago iCNG in dual crash test. A highly challenging frontal pole impact which was evaluated with the frontal dummies, followed by a severe side impact where we put in the side dummies and evaluated the safety performance. The vehicle was tested with the right dummies in both the crashes, and we can confirm that the injury targets are met. During these severe crashes, as you saw, the Tiago demonstrated all essential attributes to provide injury protection, and additionally you can notice passenger cell remained intact, doors unlocked after impact for evacuation, CNG system integrity maintained with zero leakage, fuel system integrity maintained with zero leakage, seat belts functioned correctly, side and curtain airbags deployed successfully as needed in a side impact, and even hazard lamps also got activated automatically. The new Gen Tiago iCNG is one of the most rigorously tested and safety engineered hatchbacks in this segment. At Tata Motors, safety is not just defined by a single feature or not just by crash protection alone. It is engineered as a complete protection ecosystem designed to safeguard customers before, during, after an accident. On the passive safety front, the vehicle offers 6 airbags as standard, and as you saw, a reinforced high-strength body structure with all-round protection capability. Complementing this are intelligent active safety technologies such as cornering stability control, hill hold control, rollover mitigation, torque vectoring by braking, and blind view monitor with auto activation. These systems are engineered to help drivers avoid loss of control and enhance confidence across varying driving conditions. Further strengthening the customer assurance, the connected car platform also enables post-crash SOS support for faster emergency response assistance. 90+ features demonstrate Tata Motors' unwavering commitment to delivering segment-defining safety leadership, making the new Gen Tiago one of the safest and most comprehensively engineered hatchbacks for Indian families. New Gen Tiago, based on X-Alpha architecture, truly delivers a wow experience. Thank you.
I now call upon Mr. Shailesh Chandra to talk about the next gen Tiago.ev.
While the Tiago continues redefining hatchback mobility in India, it has also played an important role in India's transition towards electric mobility. Once again, Tata Motors chose not to wait for the future, we chose to build it. Over a decade ago, when electric mobility in India was still a distant idea, Tata Motors took an early and conscious decision to invest in it as a long-term commitment to the country's mobility future. We pioneered India's EV passenger vehicle story with India's widest EV portfolio, ensuring that there was an EV for every Indian customer at every stage of their journey. This conviction has only deepened with every step that we have taken. Today, Tata.ev stands proudly at a landmark milestone of 3 lakh electric vehicle customers in India, a powerful reflection of the trust India has placed in our vision of accessible, aspirational electric mobility. As we had mentioned during the Punch EV launch, there is one important reality that emerges when you look at the EV industry. EV adoption has been growing strongest in vehicles priced above rupees 12 lakhs, which means that electric mobility is still largely concentrated in premium segments. On the other hand, in the sub rupees 20 lakh segment, which includes a significant proportion of Indian car buyers, the EV penetration is below 2%. We began changing this conversation with Punch EV, where we removed the barriers that limited adoption for customers seeking more price accessibility greater assurances, and versatility. Today with Tiago EV, we are taking that EV mainstreaming journey even deeper into the heart of India by addressing a very different kind of urban mobility need. When we launched Tiago EV in 2022, our objective had been very simple: to make EV mobility practical, accessible, and exciting for everyday India. And the response we have seen has been extraordinary. Close to 75,000 Indian families have chosen Tiago EV to begin their electric journey, and together they have driven over 2 billion electric kilometers on Indian roads. That is not just scale. It is proof that EV mobility is becoming more mainstream in India. But perhaps more importantly, these customers helped us understand something fundamental about EV behavior in India. Because if EV adoption is to truly scale in India, it cannot be restricted to expensive categories. It needs to be democratized. In that respect, Tiago EV has emerged as the perfect solution for highly specific, predictable, and deeply practical use cases. A doctor in a small town who runs his car entirely on rooftop solar, zero running cost. A professional with a 200-kilometer daily commute between city and village, or a city user navigating 80 kilometers of dense metro traffic every single day. These are use cases where customers are not looking for excess. They are looking for intelligence, practicality, and economics that fit naturally into everyday life. And that is exactly where Tiago EV has created such strong relevance. Let us take a look at the wide variety of everyday use cases where Tiago EV is quietly becoming an integral part of customers' lives across India.
हाय, मेरा नाम वैभव शर्मा है। मैं एनटीपीसी दादरी का रहने वाला हूँ और मैं पिछले 8 साल से डिजिटल मार्केटिंग के डोमेन में जॉब कर रहा हूँ। मुझे करीब 1 घंटा लगता है नोएडा पहुँचने में। तब मेरा रोज़ की रनिंग ऑन एन एवरेज जो 80 to 100 किलोमीटर्स हो जाती है।
Hi, I'm Dr. Shikha, working as an assistant professor. I'm staying in Jalandhar, Punjab. Since I'm staying in NIT Jalandhar campus and I have to go to Government College Ropar, and the distance I need to cover is 120 kilometers.
Hi, I'm Ashok, an Ayurveda and Siddha practitioner from Kerala. Daily on basis, we can calculate as 50 to 80 kilometers. And weekends, it will be traveling around 200 kilometers.
Hi, my name is Manikandan from Chennai. I am in technical lead in aerospace and defense company. My daily routine is I usually go to the office. So it is from here to 7 kilometers away. So then daily I am going to market. So every week, Friday evening, I definitely go to the church and near to the beach station. So around weekly 200 kilometers I will cover. अगर मैं बात करूँ कॉम्पैक्ट रोड्स हैं जहाँ पर इजीली नहीं आप ड्राइव कर पाते, लेकिन मेरे लिए वो चीज़ ज़्यादा परेशानी वाली नहीं है क्योंकि मैं टाटा टियागो ईवी ड्राइव करता हूँ। कॉम्पैक्ट कार है और उसमें इजीली आप निकाल सकते हैं। उसका जो टर्निंग रेडियस है वो भी कम है, तो इजीली आप उसको एक बार में टर्न कर सकते हो और आप किसी भी व्हीकल को ओवरटेक कर सकते हैं। आपको ये नहीं सोचना पड़ेगा कि मैं कर पाऊंगा कि नहीं कर पाऊंगा, क्योंकि वहाँ पे पावर का लैग नहीं है, परफॉर्मेंस का कोई लैग नहीं है।
ये कार ने मुझे इतना कंफर्टेबल कर दिया ना कि इन 11 months अप्रॉक्सीमेटली आई हैव कवर्ड 46,550 किलोमीटर्स बाय दिस टाटा टियागो ईवी कार। इवन कि माय फैमिली इज वेरी मच अटैच्ड टू ईवी कार। उनको बहुत अच्छा लगता है। अगर नानी घर भी जाना है तो इनको होता है कि मम्मा ईवी पे चलेंगे और ना मतलब मजा करेंगे।
जैसे हमने सोलर पैनल लगाया हुआ है, हमारा जो बिजली का बिल आता है तो 350 रुपीज़ ही आता है। ऑलमोस्ट जीरो पे कॉस्ट पे ही पूरा ईवी चल रहा है। It was a surprise for me when we travel as a family. What the cost which was going for fuel, I can convert into a nice hotel stay.
I cover maximum 250 and minimum up to 160 kilometers per week. Every week, Thursday night, so I put the charge and wake up with 100% with the Friday morning. But once I charge, I can go anywhere. So I will cover this 160 kilometers within the week by this. So I spend less time charging my car compared to my mobile phone or laptop.
जिस तरीके से मैं इसको ऑप्टिमाइज कर रही हो रही है तो दैट मीन्स इससे बढ़िया कार या ईवी तो मेरे लिए हो ही नहीं सकती ना.
I'm proud of my Tiago EV.
My mindset is it is very easy and you can go anywhere and that much very happy for this car.
मैं बहुत सेटिस्फाइड हूँ, बहुत खुश हूँ उस कार को यूज़ करके और काफ़ी एंजॉय करता हूँ उसको राइड करते हुए.
So as you can see, these customers taught us how India actually uses cars in everyday life. And what became very clear to us is that for these customers, Tiago EV is ideal car for the way they live every day. Today, building on all these learnings, we are proud to introduce the next gen Tiago EV. And just like the iStory, this is a reinvention. Because the next gen Tiago EV does not just address EV barriers, it fundamentally changes the financial logic of EV ownership itself. For decades, cars have always been seen as a depreciating asset. But Tiago EV changes that equation completely. You would wonder how. Let's take the example of our average Tiago EV user. They drive roughly 1,500 kilometers a month, which means daily running of about 50 kilometers. While the top quartile, which is 25 percentile of customers, drive over 2,000 kilometers a month. This is from the telematics data of all these 75,000 customers. With significantly lower running costs, the Tiago EV delivers savings of approximately rupees 1.4 to 1.5 lakh annually. These savings continue to grow steadily month after month, year after year. Eventually, all of these cumulative savings will help the customer recover the full vehicle's value within just 4 to 5 years itself. And beyond that point, something very interesting begins to happen. The car starts paying you back. Over the years, these continued savings can meaningfully support and in many cases even fund the customer's next EV as well. Which means the Tiago EV stops behaving like a traditional expense and starts behaving like an income-generating mobility asset. No anxiety about rising everyday mobility costs, because with Tiago EV, the economics become impossible to ignore. And in many ways, this is the first time an EV in India begins to feel not just emotionally smart, but financially smart as well. Now, when we studied customer usage pattern more closely, one insight became very clear to us. For this category of customers, the expectation from an EV is very different. For a city car, for a second family car, and for customers with predictable urban driving patterns, what matters most is not carrying the largest possible battery. What matters is having an EV that is practical, efficient, easy to live with, and truly accessible for everyday India. And that is why we made a very conscious choice. Instead of simply increasing battery size further, we focused on creating a package that is fit for purpose, delivering the right balance of range, usability, affordability, and everyday practicality. And to make everyday usability even more seamless, the next gen Tiago EV also brings significantly faster charging capability, allowing customers to spend less time waiting and far more time simply living with confidence. The Tiago EV now charges much faster and can add 100-kilometer top-up charge in just 18 minutes, bringing unmatched convenience to everyday electric mobility. But confidence is not built only through economics or practicality. It is also built through ownership, peace of mind. Which is why today we are proud to announce something truly path-breaking for the Indian EV industry. A promise that remains virtually unheard of in this segment. The next gen Tiago EV will come with a lifetime battery warranty. And we believe this changes the EV ownership conversation in a very different and meaningful way. Because customers should experience EV ownership with confidence, not anxiety. Confidence in long-term dependability, confidence in battery life, and above all, confidence that they are making the right decision for the future. The next Gen Tiago EV has also been engineered to deliver a far richer and more advanced ownership experience through intuitive digital experiences and enhanced safety systems designed specifically around modern mobility needs. Because future-ready mobility cannot be defined only by electrification, it must also feel intelligent, secure, and deeply reassuring in everyday life. And that is exactly what the next Gen Tiago EV has been designed to deliver. A few years ago, the biggest question around EV was simple: where do I charge? Today, that question is rapidly disappearing, with over 32,000 public charging points and partnership across 30+ charging operators. Tata.ev has played a defining role in building India's EV charging ecosystem. Further strengthening reliability and accessibility, we are rapidly expanding our own Tata.ev charging network with Tata.ev mega chargers, enabling high-speed charging, and Tata.ev verified chargers, ensuring a trusted, dependable experience for customers. And by Q2, this network is expected to scale to over 1,000 Tata.ev mega charging points and 4,000+ Tata.ev verified chargers across the country. This helps to make charging feel effortless at home, at work, at malls, cafes, or on the move. Backed by Tata.ev's ecosystem strength, Tiago EV doesn't just make electric mobility accessible, it makes it incredibly easy to live with every single day. At Tata Motors, we have always believed technology should not widen the gap between customers, it should narrow it. And that is exactly what the next Gen Tiago EV represents: an EV designed not just to electrify mobility, but to democratize it. An EV that brings together smart economics, practical urban usability, stronger ownership confidence, and future-ready technology in a way that finally makes electrification feel truly within reach for mainstream India. Now, to take you deeper into the engineering, technology, and innovation behind the next Gen Tiago EV, I would like to invite Anand to the stage.
Thank you, Shailesh. A very good morning to all of you joining us here today, in person as well as online. It's a great pleasure again to be speaking to you about the wonderful work done by our engineering teams to bring the new Tiago EV to life. When we launched Tiago EV a few years back, our ambition was very clear. We wanted to create an accessible EV for India. Today, over 75,000 Tiago EV owners, customers, have collectively driven more than 2.3 billion kilometers. Now, that is real India usage. Daily commutes, family drives, city traffic, highways, summers, monsoons, and somewhere during these 2.3 billion kilometers, the narrative and the conversation in India has started to change. Earlier, the question was, can an EV be my next car? Can an EV work for me? Today, increasingly the question is, why should my next car not be an EV? And I would like to say that the Tiago.ev has played a meaningful role in enabling that transition. One of the biggest advantages of having 75,000 connected customers, connected EVs on the road, is that we are able to learn directly from customer behavior. And one insight is very clear. The Tiago EV is no longer being used only as the secondary car in the family. We are seeing intercity travel, weekend drives, airport runs, increasing dependence on EVs as primary mobility solutions. We're also seeing adoption expanding beyond metro clusters into tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Because true electrification doesn't happen only when premium customers adopt EV. It actually happens when everyday customers start trusting the technology. And once customers experience the convenience of home charging, it fundamentally changes their relationship with mobility. Now, with this scale of customer learning comes a great responsibility. Our objective was not to alter the DNA of Tiago EV, but to make an EV ownership even more assuring, even more accessible. Like Shailesh mentioned, the new Tiago EV has been shaped around 4 key pillars: smart economics, practical urban usability, stronger ownership confidence, and the future-ready technology that we have. But because democratization of EVs is not only about price accessibility, it is, I would say, also about emotional accessibility. Now, safety for us is never treated like a checklist feature. It's a core engineering philosophy at Tata Motors, and that philosophy becomes even more important when you are democratizing mobility. Which is why, and we've seen the video, the new Tiago EV now comes equipped with segment-first 6 airbags as standard for comprehensive all-round occupant protection. Optimized use of high-strength steel across critical load paths, strategic reinforcements, and balanced rigidity across the chassis all contribute to better safety. The result, as we have seen, is a vehicle that remains robust, resilient, and protective, giving both the driver and passengers confidence in every journey. Because safety is about protecting everyone inside the vehicle. Beyond active and passive safety, the inherent EV architecture also brings a very important dynamic advantage. The battery position obviously helps achieve a near 50-50% front to rear mass distribution, contributing to better stability and balance dynamics. Additionally, improved torsional stiffness creates a very strong foundation for better body control, refinement, and driving confidence. This advantage becomes even more evident in critical real-life conditions. I'd like to explain a specific condition. For example, in split mu conditions, where grip levels suddenly differ from one side of the vehicle to the other side, the true measure of stability is how little of a steering deviation happens, and therefore how little the vehicle deviates from its intended path. Through careful chassis and active safety calibration, the Tiago EV demonstrates extremely controlled behavior with minimal deviations, helping deliver great confidence when it matters the most. We've also focused on intelligent interventions that improve safety in everyday usage. The high beam alert system intelligently detects urban driving conditions and gently nudges the driver to shift to low beam to prevent glare for the oncoming traffic. The auto demist system uses the humidity sensor to detect rising moisture levels within the cabin much before occupants perceive any visible change, thereby proactively initiating corrective actions to prevent windshield fogging and vision impairment. Now, these are 2 small examples of how intelligent technology can quietly work in the background to improve real-world safety. The next-gen Tiago EV brings in significantly faster charging. The vehicle offers an MIDC certified range of 285 kilometers with a 24 kilowatt-hour battery. But equally importantly for us was helping customers understand real-world usability, which is why Tata Motors introduced the C75 range concept. It's become a standard now for customers understanding what actually happens. In typical urban driving conditions, Tiago EV delivers an effective usable range of between 205 to 215 kilometers, and with fast charging capability, The car can add nearly 100 kilometers driving range in just about 18 minutes, which means EV usage will increasingly be defined not by waiting times, but by how seamlessly charging integrates into daily routines. We've spoken earlier about efficiency improvement through energy management, because increasing battery capacity alone doesn't define progress. Real advances come through extracting most usable energy, the highest amount of usable energy from every component. Now, on the vehicle side, we have improved the rolling resistance to class-leading numbers. Redesign of the vehicle has also helped us reduce aerodynamic drag. We refined battery management strategies, cell balancing algorithms, and optimized the thermal management to ensure consistent energy delivery. And as we looked at saving accessory loads through deployment of smart devices and smart strategies, both smart devices, smart strategies, like the multi-stage PWM fan and multi-stage pump to squeeze out that additional efficiency. The same approach was also exercised on the air conditioning system, which has been designed to operate under increasingly hotter days, which is a reality these days, right? With more consistency, reliability, and better refinement. Another important focus area for us has been ensuring consistent high voltage system performance throughout the vehicle life cycle. Dynamic performance optimization, intelligent warning strategies, dual balancing during charging as well as discharging, dynamic state of charge calibrations, and improved distance to empty algorithms all work together seamlessly, improving consistency, predictability, and long-term ownership confidence. While improving these charging speeds, we were very clear. We did not want to compromise on the core strengths that customers value in the Tiago EV, which is why we have continued with LFP chemistry for its safety, thermal stability, and accessibility advantages. Advanced cooling architecture with serpentine channels and intelligent thermal strategies will help maintain the battery within the optimum Goldilocks operating window. Combined with bespoke SOC algorithms, dual balancing strategies I spoke about, and extensive real-world validation, this enables fast charging support, even at ambient temperatures up to 50 degrees centigrade. The outcome of all these developments is visible in measurable customer benefits. And let me therefore, in order to emphasize that, bring out the customer benefit through a small user story. Now, I come from Pune, so IT hub, right? Consider an IT employee working in Pune who's bought a Tiago EV to enable him to drive down to his hometown, let's say Kolhapur, every weekend. He spent the weekend at home and is now heading back to Pune. Leaves Kolhapur on Monday morning with a full charge. He would need to stop on the way for a quick breakfast and uses that time to charge the vehicle. Earlier, he would have to wait for 50 odd minutes, when what he really needed to wait for was 20-25 minutes. But now with the Tiago EV, new Tiago EV, his break and the charging finish at exactly the same time, in about 30 minutes. He saves up to a half an hour. That's what real engineering benefits for real life looks like. And we give flexibility across charging scenarios, a 30 kilowatt hour DC fast charging, 7.2 kilowatt wall box at home, or 3.3 kilowatt charging anywhere, because life always doesn't follow a schedule, so we need options. The next pillar is battery assurance. Because when you invest in an electric vehicle, you are trusting that the heart of the car will perform not just for today, but for years together. Now, with all that I have explained, charging rates have improved by nearly 70%, leading to a reduction in charging time by almost 40%, and environmental tolerance has now improved by supporting charging up to 50 degrees Celsius. Voltage differential across the cells is also now better by 40%. What does all of this do? Collectively, these improvements deliver better consistency, better reliability, better charging confidence, and ultimately better long-term battery performance. And all these advantages ultimately lead to one important outcome: confidence, which is why we are proud to extend the lifetime HB battery warranty to Tiago EV as well, making the lifetime warranty now available across all our products. This is not a commercial statement. It's a reflection of engineering confidence, built through deep customer understanding, learning, validation, and continuous technology evolution. Our objective is simple: to make EVs and EV ownership more reassuring, more accessible, and more future-ready for Indian customers. We also believe that sustainability must extend beyond just the powertrain. And now for the new Tiago, ICE plus EV, we've identified non-automotive, post-consumption recyclable materials, which include used battery trays, chemical drums, and plastic pallets. Through careful processing and blending with virgin materials, we've responsibly integrated them into various trim applications. Today, recycled content in these trims range from between approximately 15% to as high as 75%. And this is our way of ensuring more responsible resource usage and reducing environmental impact. Going forward, we will continue strengthening these efforts as part of our broader sustainability journey. As we reach the culmination of the new Tiago EV story on engineering and product development, it just comes down to one principle: just wow. For us, the evolution of Tiago EV is not just about improving an electric car. It is about steadily removing the barriers like safety, reliability, stability, charging, battery life that once made EV adoption feel uncertain for mainstream buyers. Because technology creates real impact only when customers stop thinking about the technology and simply start trusting it. And we believe that is where Indian EV journey is now beginning to move to, from curiosity to confidence. And Tata Motors is proud to help lead that transition. Thank you. And may I now invite my colleague Martin to take you through the design story. Martin.
So hello, I'll be walking you through the story and the journey that the Tiago's done, not only over the last 10 years, but over the last, I would say, 20 months as we've been developing this next generation of Tiago. Now, good design like the Tiago itself as a nameplate has grown with the customers and grown in our portfolio. But what does it mean to make a good design? Obviously, let's look back at how the Tiago even emerged over its history. You know, when the Tiago arrived, I mean, this is more than a decade ago now, it did change the conversation. This was not just a budget product. This was a car that had an aspiration. It was always a product that, you know, aspired and punched way above its category. So over the evolution from 2016, as I said, over 10 years ago, to a number of facelifts. In 2018, we upgraded the car. Then we did a significant facelift in 2020, both on the exterior and the interior. And again, there was elements in this vehicle, whether it was the expression of the front, the features on the interior, and so forth, the technology that we were offering customers, it always aspired far beyond, you know, the remit and its price that it was offering. You know, this carried through right up to 2022 when we introduced the first version of the EV for this brand. And then even recently, we've always been polishing this diamond and, you know, making it even better. You know, every little element, you know, always improves the product. So it's never been standing still. But finally, when we decided, you know, let's give it a proper, serious refresh, we decided to really analyze the product and give it a wholesale update. Now, when you do this, you really have to look at the customer. You know, the customer in the last 10 years has shifted significantly. You have to look at market trends, have to look at fashion, you have to look at what the customer is doing, what is their user case, and what is their value system, and what are they looking at, and how do they live their lives? And then you have to apply it to this product. Now, when we started this design process, to be honest, I told the designers to work unconstrained. So you can see from the sketches there was a wide gamut. Even if we knew that this was going to be a strategic upgrade in terms of where we were going to invest our money, you know, the customer doesn't want to feel compromised. So at the same time, we told our design team, don't feel compromised. Come up with your boldest ideas. Be expressive. The other aspect you can notice is they're all hand-drawn. So I always believe that the spontaneity will come when people are using their hands. And this is a human-centric product. So once you have that application and that mindset, you're going to get closer to the actual thought process of what the customers do. So everything starts with a single line. You know, you should be able to explain the design in 2 or 3 brush strokes, 2 or 3 lines. And so the design has to be simple, but at the same time, it can't look cheap. It can't look like a budget product. It has to have a good stance. It has to have expression. It has to be fun and dynamic. And it has to have this sense of proportion. So even by using the envelope of the Tiago, which is a compact car, it's a hatchback, it doesn't mean it can't be exciting. It can't have that wow factor. So even by adding the cladding that you've seen on the images over the wheel arches, it somehow changes the proportions. The way the front and the rear bumper have been designed, it really does emphasize lower overhangs and a more dynamic feel. And so when we were looking at the front end of the car, you can see the evolution over the 3 generations effectively over the process. We really changed the geometry of the front end. We made a much flatter nose, and that actually made the car look significantly bigger size-wise than the outgoing product. And the same with the EV. We wanted to create an EV that's not different for the sake of being different. You know, there's no purpose in that. But the EV has to communicate its powertrain story, and it also has to communicate the values of the customer himself. Now, in terms of making something exaggerated and making something emotional, you really have to look at the detailing. And you also have to make something that's not too overstated. You know, we want this car to age well, we want it to be contemporary and modern, and we want it also to be cohesive in terms of fitting into the portfolio. When you walk into the dealership, the Tiago has to look just at home and just as aspirational as any of our SUVs or any of our products. There's no difference between the Tiago in terms of design value, customer value, and overall presence from any of the other products in the portfolio. So of course we took some of those sketches, those really wonderful and inspiring sketches, and we made a selection, and we started to work immediately in full size. You can see from some of the images, you know, both ICE and EV, we were really looking at, you know, how to make an expressive product. And this craftsmanship, which is what it really is an attention to detail and realization. This goes way beyond just, you know, the surfaces and the overall proportion, but right down to the details. I lost count about how many versions of the lights we did in terms of 3D models. And it's all about polishing the model, making the execution, creating the fine tuning, and again, that craftsmanship that really the customer can value and see. Of course, the same goes with the interior, and this is actually where I think the real USP of this product comes from. This is a human-centric product. So if you look over the evolution from 2016 to, you know, the sort of the late end of the decade to the outgoing product, we always kept upgrading the product, but usually it was from a technology and quality point of view. But it really came time to look that the landscape has changed significantly. People, you know, live their lives differently. You know, whether they live in a house or a small apartment, you know, their home and their home life and their expectations of modern living really has to get translated into a product, you know, in terms of the going from A to B. It should be seamless. And those expectations in terms of creature comforts, seamless technology, this user interface has to translate into a compact vehicle. So this is, again, an area where the design team really went and expressed themselves and created an aspirational product. You can see they completely changed the interior architecturally in terms of layout, in terms of overall proportions, in terms of the feeling of space. Just like the exterior, we wanted to give it more stance, more presence. We wanted the interior to feel light and airy and comfortable and home. It had to have a warmth to it. This is not a cold product. This is not a commodity. This is actually a living environment that the customer is going to live in. It has to feel comfortable in. This is a space where people live in and enjoy life, and enjoy the travel, enjoy the journey, and enjoy being together. And of course, it has to have character. Again, just like the exterior, don't make something too much of an overstatement. In Tata Motors design, we always describe ourselves as, I would say, modernists, or people who are pushing the envelope and always looking towards the future. But at the same time, it has to be a warm environment. It can't be cold and clinical. And at the same time, it has to be a seamless element of technology and materials. One of the elements we've noticed in terms of this modern living lifestyle is that people really want softness around them. They want that reassurance. That also communicates a safety and a comfort. It's like a little bit of a hug, that the car gives you when you sit inside of it. So we've really increased the soft materials, whether it's on the doors, the instrument panel, the center console, and we extended also all of this from the front to the rear. And this attention to detail, material quality, like Anand was saying, it's not just the recyclability, but it's the tactility and how you feel and touch and see these materials that really makes the overall holistic experience something really unique. So again, you have to take these ideas from theory to execution. And this is always done with physical models in our design studios. There's wonderful drawings, terrific data, terrific attention to detail, but ultimately, we're making a physical object. And that physical object is always translated, ultimately to the customer. And so you always have to put yourself in the customer's shoes when they see the vehicle, when they sit in it, and they experience it, and then they live in it, of how they're going to use this vehicle. Of course, this is a small car, this is a compact car. As aspirational as it is, it should be lighthearted. It should have a little bit of fun. So there are Easter eggs, even the signature mascot, a lot of time goes into this. And this user interface is actually something that people sometimes don't realize. The experience of how you experience a design, whether even the switchgear, you'll notice even the door switches, the window switches on the door have been completely redesigned. It's really down even to the haptics of how you use the vehicle. And this whole experience and this ecosystem is all coming down to detailing and attention to detail and a focus on what the customer wants. This interface of how you use it, where do you put your phone, what are you doing, what are you looking at, whether you're driving, whether you're a passenger, whether you're experiencing it. This is always something that we're always mindful of. And of course, finally, there's the color. You've noticed through the presentations, through the teaser images and the videos, and I think we've, from our sort of history of launches, we've always had a lot of fun with the color palette. Again, this is a car that has to have character, it has to be expressive, and at the same time, it has to be lighthearted. So this is the color palette of the outgoing portfolio. You can see everything on the right-hand side is more or less, I would say a commodity color, but always on the left-hand side we had our signature colors. So when we were designing the new portfolio of colors, we were looking at really creating something that reflects the times, the fashion, and at the same time the values and what the customer is doing, whether it's the phone case they have or the clothes they're wearing or the things they see around them. They are just as attuned to expressing themselves through this vehicle as they are through their clothes. So whether it's the ICE or the EV, we've come up with a couple of colors that are really the new signatures that'll look modern, dynamic, and at the same time aspirational. Of course, for the ICE vehicle, we have this coral-toned color. You've seen this color. It was actually a color that around a year or two ago was deemed the color of the year from a sort of overall trend analysis. And when you see it on the Tiago, it looks perfectly at home. Of course, then we also introduced a couple of new colors, this Sobo Surge, and also on the CNG signature, this pastelly blue. Of course, some are more mainstream than others. Some will get accepted by a larger collection of customer targets, but they look completely at home on a very graphic and, like I said, dynamic product. And then finally, with the EV, you've seen this sort of matcha-inspired color everywhere, whether it's in coffee shops, fashion, your phone cases, and everything like that. And again, the EV, it has to express not only the technology, what it does, but the character, the personality, and the overall expression of what the customer wants. So whether it's the ICE product, that expresses a high-tech, high-quality, looks completely at home with the rest of the portfolio, and really does express a sort of wow factor for the customer, or it is the EV that really communicates that this is now no longer a niche product, that electrification isn't something that people are considering, but this is now a new mainstream. All of that together brings a product that we're very proud of. I think it goes without saying that this was a real work of love from the design team. And I think they were really challenged with a very tight envelope in terms of creating a dynamic and an exciting product. And I think when you see the vehicle in person, you'll definitely see that. So thank you. I'll also be now introducing Vivek onto the stage.
Good afternoon. So we've seen the love of the design team and the intense passion of our engineering team to bring the Tiago to you and the customers. But let's see what it really means for customers when they buy it. What is the experience they have? Importantly, our lives have become extremely connected, seamless, intuitive, and customers today across all aspects of their life expect the same, whether it's technology, convenience, premium experience from all aspects of their life. Their standards are really rising. But that's exactly where the hatchback segment has kind of let the Indian consumers down by not giving that premium experiences to the customers. And that's where the next gen Tiago, we asked ourselves a very, very different question. How do we maximize lifestyle experiences and modern features available to a first-time car buyer? And we didn't have to look far for inspiration. Martin spoke about phone cases. Think about smartphones today. They deliver digital connectivity to all of us, internet banking, UPI, video calls to loved ones. But the smartphone industry doesn't restrict these features just because a customer buys an entry product. So why should cars work differently? That's what customers are really asking. Why should modern experience, safety, and upmarket design be rationed just because of the segment? And that's the belief that shaped the next gen Tiago. As you can see, it starts from the inside. The new dashboard, Martin spoke about the passion behind it. It feels cleaner, wider, far more premium at every touch point for the customer. The dual screen environment, we know the features it unleashes, but for the customers, it gives a very digital kind of environment. They feel very much at home and feel upmarket and modern in their car. Small details like the rear AC vents, the fabric inserts, textures, the toggle power windows in the EV, a more thoughtfully designed central console with two phones there, all work together to elevate the customer experience and sophistication inside the cabin, intuitively modern and thoughtfully integrated into everyday life and every single time that the customer uses the car. It's important to remember that a huge amount of Tiago buyers will be first-time car buyers. And driving in our cities can be very intimidating, very scary with our dense traffic, unpredictable roads, tight parking spaces. With the next gen Tiago, we focused on making this experience much more easier and confidence inspiring for the first time buyer. We have features like 360-degree surround, blind spot, but they are not just features. They work every single minute in the car to make the first time car buyer much more comfortable getting behind the wheel. Customers become more aware, confident, and in control in everyday urban conditions. Anil spoke about the driving position, the seat height. The driving position has been designed to feel reassuring, easy to adapt to, better visibility of the road with the bonnet edges, the raised bonnet, making tight turns, parking far more intuitive, especially again for somebody getting behind the wheel for the first time. Of course, there is safety. We have spoken a lot about safety, but that reassurance to hatchback customers that, listen, we are not rationing safety for you. It is not a privilege only for premium segments. With our safety dome, again Anil spoke about it, next gen Tiago customers will access the highest level of safety in real world conditions. That's what makes the Tiago truly unique. And something very different about Tiago is, bases our data, a very, very wide variety of customers consider the Tiago for their purchase, whether it's a first time hatch buyers or customers evaluating more premium urban cars. Tiago is always in the consideration list of these cars. From daily high mileage users ready to embrace EV, as well as next gen Tiago offers petrol, CNG, EV, each built around different lifestyles and usage needs. With the next gen Tiago, every step up the range is a meaningful step. You'll have a look at the grade walk here. Every variant has been curated around a specific kind of ownership experience. We always talk about the entry trims. We focus a lot on giving a lot of features in the entry trims. For a buyer stepping into car ownership for the first time, for somebody looking at an entry hatchback, our entry personas are curated with all the essential experiences, the design, the smart tech inclusions, the peace of mind with unmatched safety at the most accessible price points. Of course, our top personas offer the full picture, all the features you have seen, including 360-degree surround, blind view monitor, wireless charging, connected car technology. All of these segments so far were available 2 segments above, and we've democratized it for the first-time car buyer. Let's have a look at the complete persona walk of the next-gen Tiago. I'll give you a few seconds to photograph that. Now with the Tiago.ev, the same philosophy applies. Built around fit-to-purpose mobility. Anand spoke a lot about it. Sailesh showed different customers, how customers tailor the Tiago for their particular lifestyle and how India actually drives. Everyday city commutes, high-frequency usage to go around and buy your groceries, etc. Occasional long-distance journeys. Every step across the range unlocks a more capable, more connected, and more confidence-inspiring EV ownership experience. So whether a customer is entering the EV world for the first time or looking for a complete electric hatchback experience, there's a Tiago.ev curated to fit that life naturally. Let's have a look at the full grade walk of the Tiago.ev now. Again, I'll give you a few seconds to photograph it. So when we step back and look at the new next-gen Tiago and Tiago EV together, what becomes clear is how much this product has moved the hatchback game. The Tiago.ev and Tiago are compact yet reassuringly safe. They are accessible yet aspirational, practical yet very, very rich in modern experiences. So when customers experience the new Tiago, everything it now brings together, and there is just one word that we expect customers to say when they see the car in our showrooms, that's just wow. So let's get ready to experience some wow in our lives.
Just wow. Move like wow. Feel like wow. Just wow. Just wow. Wow. Just wow. Wow.
Chal, we're getting late for the movie. God.
cameras, voice command and fast charge.
अरे सेम सेम
Just wow. Just wow. Just wow. Just wow. Wow, wow. Just wow. Just wow. Just wow. Just wow.
पंद्रह मिनट चार्ज किया, पूरा दिन चलेगा।
बस इतने में तो 2 दिन चलेगी
Just wow. Just wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you the much loved and much awaited, the next gen Tiago. Now I request the leadership team of Tata Motor Passenger Vehicles to please join us on stage for a group photograph. A special thanks to everyone on stage. I now request you to kindly take your seats. Requesting all of you to please kindly take your seats. Also, I request Mr. Chandra to kindly request you to remain with us as we now move into one of the most anticipated moments of today's launch.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have now seen the next generation Tiago. You have seen the design that Martin and his team have been perfecting and the engineering and technology that our teams have built from the ground up. And I believe what you saw made you feel wow. The next gen Tiago has been designed to bring the kind of technology, comfort, and experience customers typically associate with more expensive vehicle segments. The next gen Tiago makes you say wow for its stylish design, first in segment technologies, uncompromised safety, and the multitude of powertrain choices that we are offering. And now, on top of that, the moment you have been waiting for. The next gen Tiago starts at
Just wow. Move like wow.
And now we move to the Tiago iCNG. Tata Motors has been at the heart of the disruption in the CNG segment today. And with the next gen Tiago, we are continuing in exactly the same spirit. Customers no longer look at CNG only as an economical choice. They are increasingly expecting it to feel aspirational, convenient, and feature-rich as well. The Tiago iCNG is now a genuinely modern, aspirational, and enjoyable everyday ownership experience, a true just wow CNG experience. And with that philosophy, we are pleased to announce that the next generation Tiago iCNG range will start at
Just wow.
Let us have all the persona voice prices for both petrol and iCNG, please.
Chal, we are getting late for the movie. God.
Just wow. Move like wow.
So now coming to EVs. What does the next gen Tiago EV cost? This is not just a pricing question. It is about what electric mobility should mean for India. The next gen Tiago EV is not merely a car purchase. It is the most financially intelligent mobility decision today. First, a lifetime battery warranty permanently addresses the concern around degradation and resale. Second, significantly faster charging, 100-kilometer top-up in just 18 minutes removes a key barrier to adoption. And third, as I said, it fundamentally changes the economics of ownership. With significantly lower running costs, the car effectively pays for itself by the 4th or 5th year, and from that point on, the car starts paying you back. This is a shift in how India will view mobility, not as an expense, but as a financial asset. With this, the next gen Tiago EV price starts at
Just wow. Move like wow.
Let us have the full EV persona-wise prices, please. Beyond this, while we believe the majority of customers continue to prefer outright vehicle ownership for its simplicity and familiarity, the EV financing ecosystem is steadily evolving, with some customers now exploring more flexible ownership structures. In line with our commitment to expanding customer choices, we are introducing a battery as a service offering for the Tiago EV. This model has been specifically designed for our accessible EV portfolio, giving customers an additional pathway into electric mobility. With battery as a service, the Tiago EV price starts at So a car with this design, this technology, and this safety at this price, we believe that is what democratization actually looks like. Here's a summary of the pricing for the next-gen Tiago and Tiago EV. So from ICE to iCNG to Tiago EV and even Tiago EV with bus, the new Tiago makes aspirational accessible across every powertrain and for every kind of customer. And that is exactly what we have tried to do with this launch. So when you put it all together, there's really only one way to describe what the next-gen Tiago and Tiago EV represent for India today. That is just wow. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, now as we conclude today's live showcase, we extend our heartfelt appreciation to the media, our partners, our audiences watching online, and the entire Tata Motors passenger vehicles family. Before we close, few announcements for the guests to follow. The 3 cars on the stage are reserved for pre-scheduled media interactions only. These cars are not available for walkarounds. I repeat, the cars on the stage are not available for walkarounds. For today's experience, the vehicle displays are spread across 2 distinct zones, one dedicated for Tiago.ev and the other one for Tiago.ice, featuring PV and iCNG cars. The EV zone is at Phoenix